Every generation of Pokemon introduces brand new creatures. Some become staples of every team, while others, well, don't even make it out of the box. In this video I'm looking at the least used Pokemon introduced in each generation, from Kanto in Gen 1 all the way to Alola in Gen 7. These aren't Pokemon that happen to be overlooked later on, these are the ones that were ignored from the very moment they debuted in their own generation. Whether it's because of terrible stats, forgettable designs, weird evolution requirements, or just being completely outclassed by literally everything else, these are the Pokemon you probably never trained, never saw on a team, and maybe ever forgot existed. Let's kick off with Gen 1 and a normal type that never really stood a chance. If you enjoy this kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon content. Subscribe by using my red watermark in the bottom of your screen. In Generation 1, Lickitung was one of those Pokemon that just kinda existed. Because someone thought a big pink lizard with a tongue longer than his body was funny. You couldn't even catch it in the wild, you had to trade a Slowbro to get one on Route 18 in red and blue. And once you had it, well, it didn't do much. With a base stat total of 385, no evolution at the time, and a move pool made out of things like Rap, Stomp and Supersonic, it felt more like a gimmick than a team member. Fast forward to Generation 4 and Lickitung finally gets an evolution. Licky, but it only evolves if it knows Rollout while leveling up. It seems simple, but Lickitung learns Rollout at level 6, so if you caught on later in the game, you couldn't evolve it into Licky. In a region where Snorlax was king and Tauros was untouchable, Lickitung was always the third wheel of normal types, long tongue, short legacy. In Generation 2, Delibird was introduced as a cute little ice-flying Pokemon that looked like a festive delivery bird. But its battle performance was anything but a gift. Found primarily in the freezing ice path, Delibird's claim to fame was its signature move Present, which could randomly heal or damage the opponent. With a base stat total of 330 and one of the worst move pool in the game, Delibird was overshadowed by the real ice type powerhouse like Articuno and Piloswine. Its catch rate was an average 45, but no one really went out of its way to use it in battles. Today, Delibird is probably better known as Shady Penguin's mascot than a serious battler, which honestly might be his best role ever. In a generation full of competitive beats, Delibird was more of a seasonal joke than a serious contender. Generation 3 brought us Luvdisc, a heart-shaped fish that's all charm, no muscle. You catch it easily in the ocean waters near Evergrande City using a Super Rod, but it's not worth much in battle. With a base stat total of 330, Luvdisc is incredibly frail and weak, and it doesn't evolve. Its move pool is limited mostly to water type staples like Water Pulse and Agility, but it lacks any real offensive punch. Many fans mistakenly thought Luvdisc would evolve in Alomomola, but it turned out not to be the case. More often than not, Luvdisc was just a fishing trip distraction, not a team member. A bug type with 3 different forms based on where its pre-evolution Burmy last battled. Wormadam. Whether it's a grass, ground or steel cloak, Wormadam shares a base stat total of 424 with poor speed and middling stats overall. It evolves only from a female Burmy, which made it rare and sometimes frustrating to get. Despite its cool concept of having multiple forms, Wormadam lacked offensive power and was overshadowed by its male counterpart Mothim. In a generation filled with strong new Pokemon like Togekiss and Mamoswine, Wormadam just didn't make much of a mark. In Generation 5, the least used Pokemon might be a tie between Stunfisk and Alomomola. Stunfisk is a ground electric type found in Charstone Cave. It has a unique typing, but its base stats add up to only 471. It's very slow and it doesn't hit very hard. Its weird flat design didn't help, and players usually pick stronger ground or electric types instead. Alomomola is a bulky water type you can catch by fizzing in the rippling water. It has loads of HP and some healing moves, but it's slow and can't really attack well. It never evolves and it was mostly used in niche stall teams, but it rarely made it onto competitive squads since other water types like Togepex were much better. Both of these Pokemons were mostly forgotten because other teammates was flashier and more useful. In Generation 6, Aromatisse was one of the 2 new fairy type evolution of baby Pokemon. Spritzee evolved in Aromatisse when traded holding a sachet. With a base stat total of 462, Aromatisse is a bulky but slow, mainly focused on healing and support moves like Aromatherapy and Wish. Its offensive move pool is weak, and it was heavily overshadowed by more powerful fairy types like Sylveon and Florges, leaving Aromatisse to be a wallflower in battles. In Generation 7, Pyukumuku made a splash, or rather a flop, as a water type that simply can't attack. Found on Hoenn Beach, Pyukumuku has a base stat total of 410, with no real offensive moves beyond counterattacks. Its ability Innards Outs damage opponents when Pyukumuku faints, but it's niche at best. Pyukumuku was the slow, strange sea cucumber nobody really wanted on their team. If you enjoy this kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon content. Subscribe by using my red watermark in the bottom of your screen.